My name is Ashley, and in 2001, I don't know how or where or by what means, but my mom and dad found out about a thing called SeaTrek 2001. And they told me about it, and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, sure, sounds great. And I didn't know or understand how cool my parents were and all the opportunities they gave me in my life, because I was just a stupid 15-year-old that heard about something that I could do and said, sure, why not?
But anyway, so we got to go to Norway with Uncle Larry, which was a gas. Yeah, I remember getting to the airport and it being like so obvious, the difference in cultures. And probably especially because we were always flying in and out of LA and stuff growing up.
And
but I remember
was like blonde and blue-eyed?
No, they were not like in some rat race, like go crowd the baggage claim spot. You know, it was like everybody just kind of like hung back, and when their luggage came, they went and got it instead of like every single inch around the baggage claim is crowded with people.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and you're like busting your way in there trying to get your bag while all these other people are standing there waiting for theirs to come through. Anywho.
Interesting.
From the airport, we took a train to Oslo, located at the end of a long fjord. And our hotel was right there. And the view from the 9th floor was fabulous.
And I remember the hotel we stayed in was super nice and awesome, and I took the best nap of my life, which you're not supposed to do because of jet lag. But I got in that bed. It was so comfortable.
I know, and they all had these duvets. And it was the first place I had ever seen heated towel rods.
And then I woke up later you guys came in with like one of those McDonald's salads in a cup that you shake. And like you said, Mom, Uncle Larry served his mission there, so he got to take us all around.
And the next day we got to go to the central train station and take a high-speed train to Kristiansand. The views along the way were beautiful. Lakes, green hills, and villages. In Kristiansand, the landscaping was so beautiful with flowers everywhere. And the vegetables in the street markets looked delicious. We rented a VW bus for the drive to Mondal, which was scenic and fun. We saw many funny road signs, which I won't repeat, but I really want to. It's only 26 miles to Mondal. Ashley explains what happened there.
Yeah.
We went and met with some lady that he baptized a long time ago, sat in her house, which for a 15-year-old you can imagine was like so fun.
And she made the special Norwegian cake that was really delicious. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. Do you remember her name?
Nope. But
I remember being in her house though.
yeah, I do too. And she remembered Larry from when he was 19 and he was, in his 60s.
So Larry took us all around Norway and showed us stuff. I mean, it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful place I'd ever been, and still holds that place. And I've been places. Anyway, it was the most beautiful place I'd ever been. So Larry took us all around. We got to see the 10 p.m. sunset from the Mondal Harbor. Oh, we went to church in Norway, and it was like in a community center building, like up on the 3rd floor or something, and they all stick around after for a meal because there's probably like no members out there, so they're probably pretty close, like family. I think we kind of, do you remember eating sausage? I feel like we had to eat sausage.
I do not remember sausage at all.
Really?
And after church, we drove to the Lindenes Lighthouse, which is the southernmost tip of Norway. Famous for huge storms and big waves, built in 1915. We got to go up in the lighthouse to the tippy top. It was super cool and interesting.
From the lighthouse, we drove north to Stavanger, which is where my great-grandmother Elizabeth Jacobson and her family were from.
And we got to go to the same area that they were from, which was called Kleven. And it was like Old Town. It was like Old Town Stavanger. Do you remember that, Mom?
Yes.
So it was like the same cobblestone streets, and it was like preserved like Old Town.
Exactly.
And so Dad got his picture taken in front of a door, because he, Grandpa whoever, Jacobson, whatever his name was, Rasmus,
Yeah.
he was a cobbler, wasn't he?
Yep.
Okay, so Norway was beautiful. We got to go to where our ancestors were from, to where Elizabeth Jacobson was from, which she was like
13.
she was 13. She was kind of like the ancestor that I was like doing this. Also, we got to go to the church where she was christened, I think. How pleasantly surprising was it that like everybody speaks English?
Oh, it was heaven.
It's so nice.
And it was so clean there.
Stavanger was a beautiful port, and after we spent the night, we boarded a fast boat that would take us to Bergen. Water travel is common because there's a ton of it, and there are a lot of really beautiful, different looking bridges. The people live right on the water. Check out this cute town. What a cool place for an apartment. Then it was on to Bergen. The next day we took a ship to the fjords, passing by the longest floating bridge in Scandinavia. You could tell they're both brothers, so exciting to travel with. This is the longest fjord in Norway, and we stop at all these little towns. Good luck trying to pronounce this one. And we saw churches in nearly every community. Some of these places appeared to have less than a dozen homes, and others appeared to have maybe a population of 100. Balestrand had a beautiful hotel right on the river. Seaplanes are practical. There are many, many waterfalls in the fjord. Some of them are over 2,000 feet tall. The deeper you go into the fjord, the higher the mountain walls. Some are over 4,500 feet above sea level in the fjord. The grandeur is difficult to capture with photos. You just want to soak it all in. It's so picturesque, so quaint. Our boat trip ended here. And then we had to get on a taxi and go 16 kilometers through a tunnel to Flom so we could catch a ship back to Bergen, where we arrived several hours later. The next morning, we got on the funicular, which was super steep. I wouldn't want to hike it. The view was amazing. And the fish in Bergen, the industry is huge. The next day, we got on our first-class train back to Oslo. It took us most of the day. Again, we were treated to gorgeous views. This is considered the most beautiful train trip in all of Europe, with glaciers and lakes, sod-covered cabins, and the bicyclists have to dress warm even in the summer. We saw some whimsical architecture and farms as we got close to Oslo, and that is the beautiful sunset. Larry showed us where he lived 40 years earlier as a missionary. The Oslo harbor is where our next journey started, on the Europa.